Hey guys, what's up? This is Fula going live with you on this Thanksgiving morning. I should say on this, I don't know how I can put it into the words, but on this tragic holiday morning, since we know the origins of Thanksgiving have nothing to do with thanking, but or giving, has more to do with taking. But anyway, I wanted to go live, because I guess it was just my intention to compare two sides of the spectrum. Me, I'm always going to go back to the African perspective of looking at things versus uh, the twisted European infused way that Nature Boy looks at things, and I guess the cat's been let out of the bag. The elephants has been in the room long enough, and it appears that multiple members over there in his encampment have HIV, AIDS, and everything of that sort. So my intention is basically to compare, a natural living setting um, of an African sage. Um, let's just call him Malam, Malam. And Malam means teacher in Hausa. And Hausa is a West African language. It's spoken by a lot of people. Um, so, yeah. So let's just call him Malam. The Malam kind of remembered or could kind of foresee things coming. Um, and also, we can look at, even before this Malam, that the people of Lut, the people of Lut, uh, basically, because they did sodomy, because they had did homosexual tendencies, and it was practiced openly and without any shame. The Most High destroyed them. He destroyed them basically. And Luke was sent there to warn them that no, you can't do this. And so, and that's what happened. And the way, the way that it happened. Let's go ahead and look and see how it happened. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, basically, God turned the towns upside down and he just used earth to destroy them, like rocks and stuff like that, and different types of things. And so, and that was due to them, their constant sodomy, and that was due to their constant homosexuality. You know, um, I don't care what people say, and I don't care who I offend, but homosexual is not natural. Okay, homosexual, even if it's done in the animal kingdom, you have to look at it as animals don't have a free will. They're following a divine order or a divine flow of things. If animals had free will, don't you think they would probably come here to like mess up humans for all the wrong we've done to them? If they have free will, animals don't have free will. They follow a divine order that's sent by the Most High. So if they do those tendencies, it's only because they don't have a free will. I mean, that's just the bottom line, you know. But anyhow, let's get into it. And this is just going to be a short live, basically, because now the receipts are coming up that Nature Boy he has there's people there with HIV, there's people there with all kinds of diseases and stuff like that. So with that being said, um, you know, one has to assume that basically uh, that it's not. I mean, nobody is safe in going there either. So if you want to go there, then you may want to think twice. Like if you decide that you want to go to his encampment, then think twice, man, because you could be like how should I say it? You could be dealing with something, that you don't want to deal with, that you didn't expect because it hasn't been disclosed to you, basically, because he's not going to disclose it to you. If he decided that he would have disclosed it to you, then of course, I mean, um, then you can go on your own discretion. But I mean, he's keeping these factors hidden from the people. And I mean, it's people who are coming to um, the forefront and bringing up these receipts, basically. So yeah, don't go, man. Just stay out the way. That's the best way to do it. Just stay out the way. I mean, that's just the way it is. But before I start rambling on, let me just go ahead and get into it. Um, let me just get into what Malum left behind, because Malum, they know what's going on and they know what was going to happen. That's the thing about it. Like, I don't know how they basically um saw what was to happen in the future, but they knew what was going to happen in the future. And so they left us with information behind to avoid these things. But anyway, the elephant's been in the room long enough. Um, and, as human beings, we're social creatures. We like to socialize, we like to interact and stuff like that. And so I'm just translating it from the original tongue. I'm doing the best translation I can do. Uh, you know, um, uh, and so now um, I guess it's a pamphlet. It was a pamphlet basically, but it's in manuscript form. But it's basically called "The Book of Advice Regarding the Most Important Issues of Social Well-Being," where I'm getting my sources from. Okay, so Malum, he says the prohibitions of the private parts are four: homosexuality, fornication and adultery, anal sex, and masturbation. Um, so the reason why he put these things in there, because when you get rid of these things, a society is kind of well-being. You see the society elevate. You don't see this society deteriorate. So with Nature Boy, it's done nothing but deteriorate, for the simple fact because he embraces all of these things. I mean, because of his homosexual tendency, he probably has an STD or some kind of he's probably burning because the women are promiscuous and indulge in all kinds of fornication, and they do it with everybody there, like with each other. It's like they pass each other around, toss each other like salad, basically. Just it's in this, like, I want to call it, it's like a vortex where everything is circling around, and so all of their fluids are just circling around each other. And because of these exchange of fluids are based on lust and not based on love, you see HIV there, you see other STDs possibly there. And because like HIV um, and AIDS as well, attacks the immune system, now you see that they're suspect to other diseases outside of sexually transmitted diseases. And the reason why Malum for forbade fornication and basically anal sex and homosexuality is because he knew this would happen. He knew that this society would basically um, deteriorate if these things were widespread in it. And although that they don't have a society, I don't think, like, numbers wise they have enough people to really have a society. Um, you can see what's happening there. For the little people who are there, they're like deteriorating like completely. Um, so there were there was it, the there were tools to th- there were tools left to you know to deal with these things. uh Basically, I don't want to give my secrets out, but there's certain things you can say to, like, strengthen your reserve to not do these things. um and this comes to the fact that you have to really be the greatest battle you'll ever fight is the one with yourself. So you know because Nature Boy says he loves himself, and the people there and his followers say um they love themselves, they refuse to acknowledge that the shortcomings of themselves, because I guess with him, Christ consciousness is equivalent to being perfect, to being the universal man. But he's not the universal man at all. In fact, he's a very, very one-dimensional man. You know, if you're saying things like circumcision is bad, in that you know um, porn stars are the only ones who have real sex, and saying things like you guys want to watch animals have sex, but you guys go crazy watching humans have sex, then you have some problems, man, that you haven't addressed, you know. And they're in plain sight. The prohibitions are there and they're common sense. But, he doesn't want to control he doesn't want to control it, and they don't want to control it, because they feed off of each other. They're just as bad as he is. All of his wives are just as bad as he is. Um, yeah, sure, they probably came there first with good intentions, right? But I mean, the more you're around someone, the more you're going to be like that person. So his wives are just as bad as him, but I won't even call them his wives. I'll just call them his whores, because that's all they are. They're whores. Any self-respecting, dignified woman is not going to let a man do that to them. So that's the thing. They don't respect themselves. So if you want someone to respect you, then you have to respect yourself. So I don't respect them, and I won't respect them. So, because they don't respect themselves and they don't respect human life. Because if they would respect human life, they wouldn't go and, be impregnated and then with no having a disease when that baby could be affected by the disease. They wouldn't go um and have a disease and then lie down with someone else who unknowingly may not be aware that they have the disease, and that goes for the men too. I don't respect any of them. I won't respect them. In fact, I do look at them with pity. I do look at them with contempt. I do look at them as lower level beings. I do look at them as people who are no better than animals who have sex. Basically, that's what they're like. They're like just like wild animals who have sex with each other. They're not better. They're not better. I'm sorry to say it. Because if you're a dignified human being, you will know the sacredness of what you're doing, and you wouldn't just exchange it with anything that comes across your way, you know. And I hate to think about what the privates look like. God, Lee, it's probably like warded all up, probably open sores and open pores and stuff like that. And ugh, man, just thinking about that place makes my flesh crawl, man. But I just wanted to do this short live. They left us with they left us with Malum left us with some practical gems to go by, and we don't want to take them most of the time. He left them behind for us to use because he loved us, and but we don't want to use them. you know yeah, I mean, I'll give a little bit out of my cookie jar. I'll give just a little bit out of my cookie jar. um if you want to curb your desires, okay, if you have the desire to like curb your levels, let's just say you're a single person, let's just say you're an unmarried person, let's just say you're a person in need of like companionship, but for whatever reason you don't have that companionship or it hasn't came to you yet. um you can try, you can do fasting, because if you fast, you're basically, what happens is, if you prohibit yourself from eating the lawful things or doing the lawful things, you know it'll be that much easier to prohibit yourself from doing the unlawful things. That's how that works. But that's all I got to say for now. I'm off until the next one. Leave your comments. Let me know if you want to go live. Let me know if you want to do a Google Hangout. I'm open, completely open. So yeah, Njarama.